As of this week, some of the country's biggest polluters are required to disclose their greenhouse gas emissions and how they're managing climate-related risks. For now, the new laws only cover about 700 big companies, but the Albanese government plans to expand them over the next 3 years to include thousands of smaller and medium-sized companies too.
However, the coalition's vowed to scrap the rules if elected in this year's federal election. So just how important are these reporting rules? Matthew Egan from Sydney University is an expert in environmental governance accounting, and he joins us now. Hi there, thanks for your time, Matthew. So first of all, tell us what companies are going to have to start doing.
Okay, so the reporting landscape is evolving. We've got new accounting standards focused on climate change, which, as you say, just a small tier of companies initially will have to comply with from the 1st of January 2025. And countries all over the world are adopting these accounting standards. So it's going to result in information which is hopefully quite comparable across entities all over the world.
Why does the government want the information?
What is the information? So specifically, companies are going to have to report on their risks and opportunities that fall out from climate change. Why does the government want the information? It's going to go within our existing annual reports, within the financial statement section of our annual report. And so the targeted stakeholders here are very much shareholders. And so the argument is that this is useful, meaningful information for shareholders. They would want to know about the risks for their investment associated with climate change. How's it going to impact on your asset portfolio, your cash flows, your revenue streams? And so this is where the argument is for the importance of this information.
How difficult, or indeed easy, will these big firms find it to compile the data?
Yes, I think it's a challenge. So we're talking about risks. That's the key thing we're talking about here. Risks from climate change. And so we're talking about the future. We're talking about doing this within our annual report, within the financial statements. So it's the accountants who are going to be doing this. And accountants by nature are conservative. We don't like to talk about the future. We're relatively happy talking about the past with our profit and loss, etc. But talking about the future is not easy. And in particular with climate change, where is the positive spin here? It's largely relatively grim scenarios that we're talking about. And so it's going to be difficult for accountants to engage with this. But the upside is that companies, particularly this first tier of companies that you spoke of, companies have been voluntarily providing a lot of these related disclosures in recent years through a very similar reporting framework, the TCFD, Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures. So quite a number of these large companies have already voluntarily been undertaking these sorts of disclosures in recent years anyway.
As we leap forward, Matthew, as I say, it's only about these 700 big companies with money that have to do it at the moment. What, when it filters down? I mean, how will more middle rank and even smaller companies, how will they navigate this?
Yes, well, the proposal is that, so initially it's these larger companies. By 2027, we're proposed to get to the final tier of organisations that need to also join in. And those organisations are largely companies with more than $50 million of revenue annually. So it's still not the super small to medium enterprises. And so it is going to be certainly challenging for them. I hope that they don't have to spend too much money on engaging their accounting consultants and auditors to give them advice on how to progress with this. I think to a large extent, it's just a matter of investing some time and thinking about what climate change might mean for their organisation. And certainly there are, as I say, there's already a number of examples of voluntary reporting in relation to similar prior frameworks. And by the time 2027 comes along, there will be a lot of other examples of reporting that they can follow on from. So there will be a lot of useful exemplars to go from. But it just requires some time and investment of thought to think about how climate change is going to impact on our asset portfolio, on our revenue streams, and not just the risks, but also the opportunities as well. Maybe there might be new revenue opportunities, etc.